Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Zhang. Here are some of today's top stories. Former President Trump was back in New York court today, where the judge is weighing more fines for alleged gag order violations. Police cracked down on UCLA's pro-Palestinian encampment, with more protesters being detained earlier today. Presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy made a proposal to President Biden that would result in one of them dropping out of the 2024 race. See the agreement detailed he laid out during a campaign event in New York. First up, we have the latest on the anti-Israel protests disrupting college campuses and across the nation. President Biden addressed the protests and encampments for the first time.
So let me be clear. Peaceful protest in America. Violent protest is not protected. Peaceful protest is. It's against the law when violence occurs. Destroying property is not a peaceful protest. It's against the law. Vandalism, trespassing, breaking windows, shutting down campuses, forcing the cancellation of classes and graduations. None of this is a peaceful protest. Threatening people, intimidating people, instilling fear in people is not peaceful protest. It's against the law.
Biden said the protesters on college campuses should be free to express their views, but should not devolve into trespassing or violence. When asked about the response to such violence, Biden said he doesn't believe states should use the National Guard to intervene in the protests. Biden said there is no place in America for anti-Semitism or Islamophobia, and that he's committed to defending free speech and the rule of law. Biden's speech came as the House voted yesterday to pass the bipartisan Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, aimed at addressing reports of rising anti-Semitism on college campuses. More than 1,800 people have been arrested on college and university campuses since April 18th. NYPD says roughly half of the 282 people arrested at both Columbia University and the City College of New York on Tuesday were not affiliated with either school. 132 people were arrested at UCLA earlier this morning as the police dismantled the encampment. We'll have more on UCLA from NTD's Christina Corona in a moment. After one day of campaigning in Wisconsin and Michigan, Trump was back in New York court today. He commented on the trial as he entered the courtroom.
We're down at the trial now, getting ready to spend another day in the courthouse, which is bogus trial that every leading authority on law says should never have been brought, that Alvin Bragg didn't want to bring it until the election happened and then he brought it. You just do know that this case could have been brought 8 years ago. Could have been brought 8 years ago. Instead, they wait and wait and wait. They know it's not a good case, and now it's turned out to be they've lost they have no case. They have no case.
Today's hearing centered on more alleged gag order violations in remarks Trump made last week about his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, and a jury. Earlier in the week, the judge fined Trump $9,000 for other violations of the gag order and threatened the jail time for future violations. NTD's Kelly Wright interviewed U.S. constitutional law expert Alan Dershowitz.
And would you say that all of the recriminations coming against Donald Trump from the legal system, including judges trying to actually force him to be quiet with a gag order, a $9,000 fine, is any of this fair to the former President of the United States, who right now is like any average human being facing a legal system that is coming against him in multiple states, as you just stated?
Utterly unfair. If they wanted to have a gag order, they should have postponed it until after the election. You don't have a gag order on somebody who's running for president of the United States. A gag order that allows Michael Cohen, his main adversary, to attack him every day, and he's not allowed to respond or not allowed to campaign. I mean, he's entitled. I mean, President Biden made a joke about him at the journalist dinner. He's entitled to respond to that. The marketplace of ideas requires that every accusation, every statement be responded to. And so the gag order is utterly unconstitutional. The trial is based on a non-crime. The only purpose of the trial is to gag him and to keep him in court to prevent him from campaigning. That's the goal, and it's working.
To watch the full interview with Alan Dershowitz on anti-Semitism on campus and upcoming elections, tune in America's Hope with Kelly Wright Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Washington is urging China and Russia to declare that only humans and never artificial intelligence would make decisions on deploying nuclear weapons. The U.S., France, and Britain have all made what the State Department called a clear and strong commitment on the matter. That's according to State Department Arms Control official Paul Dean's remarks earlier today. He also said that declaring humans have total control over nuclear weapons is a, quote, an extremely important norm of responsible behavior. As of now, Beijing hasn't responded to a request for comment. President Biden has been trying to communicate with China on both the nuclear weapons policy and the growth of artificial intelligence. Zooming on Russia, last year, Russian President Vladimir Putin suspended a key nuclear arms deal with the U.S. The START treaty allowed Russia and the U.S. to inspect nuclear facilities as an effort to limit the other's nuclear arsenal. UCLA undergoes a major cleanup following law enforcement intervening and dismantling the pro-Palestinian encampment this morning, resulting in hundreds of arrests. NTD's Christina Crona gives us the latest update on the campus.
Hundreds of officers from various agencies, including the Los Angeles Police Department and California Highway Patrol, entered the campus in riot gear around 1:45 a.m., hours after the initial dispersal order was given at 6 p.m. Wednesday. Pro-Palestinian protesters can be seen spraying officers with pepper spray as they resist law enforcement attempting to enter the encampment at Royce Quad. During the clash, police fired stun grenades, causing loud explosions. Officers began tearing down the encampment and dismantling the wooden and metal barriers. Protesters who refused to disperse were arrested.
I'm a student here. I'm an English major. Please don't fail us. Don't fail us.
Over 200 individuals were detained as officers dismantled the encampment that had been up for 7 days. CHP transported detainees by bus to county jail. Many were cuffed with zip ties and given paper bags for their belongings. Officials said UCLA police will help with charges. Cleanup began at the university Thursday morning. The aftermath of the raid left massive amounts of trash, including dismantled tents, leftover food, and Royce Quad covered in graffiti. One student said he was on the front lines of the raid.
I was on the front lines. I was, the cops hit me with their batons and they grabbed me. I did not resist arrest, but they grabbed me and I said, okay, at this point, the bets are off. The school rather physically intimidate their students, eventually hurt their students, rather than even consider divestment.
Mayor Karen Bass addressed the issue Thursday, stating, "Every student deserves to be safe and live peacefully on their campus. Harassment, vandalism, and violence have no place at UCLA or anywhere in our city. My office will continue to coordinate closely with local and state law enforcement, area universities, and community leaders to keep campuses safe and peaceful." As of Thursday afternoon, UCLA has not released a statement on the incident. Classes will be held remotely for the rest of the week. Christina Corona, NTD News.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. proposed an agreement to President Biden that whoever does worse in a poll against the former President Trump would drop out of the 2024 race. NTD's Jason Blair reports.
Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. made the proposal on Wednesday during a campaign event in New York.
This is a pledge that I offer to take if President Biden also takes it.
Kennedy's no-spoiler pledge would consist of an agreement between President Joe Biden and himself to take an election poll in October, one with Biden against former President Trump and another with himself against Trump.
Both parties agree to co-fund in mid-October a 50-state poll with 30,000 or more likely voters, so this is essentially effectively zero margin of error.
Kennedy said that whoever loses the poll will agree to drop out of the presidential race. Kennedy also said while he doesn't think former President Trump is a spoiler, he'd be happy to make the same pledge with him.
Because I can do better against President Biden than President Trump can.
The Biden campaign has not responded to Kennedy's proposal. At the event, Kennedy also showed poll results from 50 states of Biden losing to Trump. Kennedy beating Biden by a wide margin, and Kennedy beating Trump. The results cite a poll done in April by John Zogby Strategies. Kennedy said it's the largest poll done so far for the 2024 election, polling 26,000 likely voters from all 50 states. According to Kennedy, the margin of error is only 0.6%. Jason Blair, NTD News.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. Hundreds arrested in California for fentanyl. The bust is a part of an effort to tackle illegal drug markets and crime. Officials from the Northern California Water Board are encouraging locals to conserve water. Their suggestion? Grow native plants. This cat's owner is calling this shy feline a tough and a resilient one. How she ended up in another state at an Amazon warehouse. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Zhang. In a recent special operation update, California reported authorities made over 500 arrests and seized the 700 pounds of fentanyl in San Francisco. It's part of an effort to tackle illegal drug markets and crime.
After 1 year of working together, the California Highway Patrol and California National Guard made over 500 arrests and seized nearly 700 pounds of fentanyl in San Francisco. Governor Gavin Newsom deployed the multi-agency special operation in May 2023. As part of its operations, the CHP issued over 6,200 citations for illegal activity and recovered over 115 stolen vehicles. In a statement, Newsom said, while there is more to do to improve public safety, crime rates are significantly down as we work with our local partners to continue to reverse the tide. City leaders have been struggling to tackle crime in recent years. Together, CHP and CalGuard coordinate with local, state, and federal law enforcement and agencies across the city to dismantle the illegal drug markets in the Tenderloin and South of Market neighborhoods. According to Newsom's office, California has invested $1.1 billion since 2019 to fight crime, help local governments hire more police, and improve public safety.
In Northern California, 3 cities banded together to fight organized retail theft last year. Now they have announced their progress.
A multi-agency, organized retail theft task force in one Northern California community has made significant progress in fighting organized retail theft. The Daly City, San Bruno, and San Mateo police departments, in collaboration with the San Mateo County District Attorney's Office, have made 88 arrests between October 2023 to April 2024. They have recovered over 700 items worth over $23,000 and seized 2 weapons. The officers operated in both plain clothes and uniformed attire. In a statement, the San Mateo Police Department chief said, "We are grateful for the support that made this endeavor possible, and I look forward to a sustained, cohesive approach to addressing a significant crime trend that touches all communities within the region and state." Law enforcement say they intend to keep cracking down on organized retail theft to keep businesses and residents safe.
Shifting gears to sports, a storm brews in boxing as a performance-enhancing drug allegations swirls around Ryan Garcia's recent win over Devin Haney. NTD's Carlos Reyes has more on the story.
Boxing rising star Ryan Garcia has tested positive for the banned substance Osterin. This revelation came to light following his upset victory over Devin Haney. The Voluntary Anti-Doping Association confirmed Garcia's positive test through urine samples collected before the fight. Garcia, however, denies any knowledge or intention of using banned substances, asserting his innocence. The positive test has cast a shadow over Garcia's victory, raising questions about the integrity of the bout. Garcia's team, backed by Golden Boy Promotions, is collaborating to investigate the circumstances surrounding the positive test. Meanwhile, Haney, the former junior welterweight champion, expressed disappointment and accused Garcia of disrespecting the sport by allegedly fighting dirty. Osterin, classified as a selective androgen receptor modulator, also known as SARM, is a banned substance that attaches to proteins in the body, effectively instructing muscles to grow. It is known for its muscle-building properties, aiding athletes in enhancing muscle mass and accelerating fat loss. Moreover, Osterin is reputed for its ability to increase stamina and improve recovery, factors that can contribute to enhanced athletic performance. In addition to the doping allegations, Garcia's failure to make weight for the fight further complicates the situation. He incurred penalties including a financial fine paid to Haney and ineligibility to win the title despite his victory in the ring. The New York State Athletic Commission is in contact with the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association to review the matter, emphasizing the importance of safety, fairness, and integrity in professional sports. Osterin has been prohibited by the World Anti-Doping Agency since 2008. Ryan Garcia testing positive for Osterin adds to a list of notable boxing figures who have been associated with the banned substance in the past. Among them is Lucian Bute, who tested positive for Osterin following a draw with Badou Jack in their WBC super middleweight title fight in 2016. The result was later changed to a disqualification win for Jack. Additionally, Amir Khan faced a 2-year ban by UK Anti-Doping, UCAD, after testing positive for Osterin following his 6-round TKO loss to Kell Brook in 2022. Carlos Reyes, NTD News.
Conserving water by growing native plants, that's what one Northern California water board is proposing. Let's take a look.
The Santa Clara Valley Water Board is recommending people to plant native California plants to conserve water. Some residents in the surrounding area have already converted their lawns and have noticed the benefits.
The first year when we had the native garden, we watered about once a week. The second year we watered every other week. The third year we watered about once a month, and now we don't water it at all. We still have some drip irrigation out in front for some of the vegetables that I put in, but generally it's a very low water use landscape.
We live in an arid place, and to waste water when there's so many uses for it, for people, for nature, for agriculture or other industry, it's a crime to waste water. So the California native plants, many of them don't want to be watered in the summer, so we make them happy.
Our water use has dropped dramatically once we got this native garden established and settled in. We're quite frugal with watering in the summer months. We are far below the typical measure that the city bill expects us to meet. We're using less water than I would imagine anybody on this street.
The Valley Waters Landscape Rebate Program is paying up to $3,000 for people to transform their lawn into a native one.
We have a design template for homeowner to use. And if it fits with your need, you can take that template and then design your yard yourself. Or you can always find your own designer to design your yard. And we also have a long list of California drought-resistant landscape plants.
The board lists over 70 species that are native to Santa Clara County. They range from sycamore and valley oak trees to California blackberry and California rose to buckwheat and California aster.
Some call this a miracle, or cats really do have 9 lives. A Utah cat was found by an Amazon employee all the way in California after sneaking into a package. NTD's David Lamb has the story on how one couple got reunited with their traveling cat.
Oh my gosh. We're not kidding around with this story, which one couple says is nothing short of a miracle. Galina is an indoor cat, a Siamese American shorthair with calico coloring. She caught a surprise trip for herself nearly 600 miles away from home. Her owners said their 6-year-old cat is shy and likes to hide in boxes. And after she went missing in Utah on April 10th, Carrie and Matt Clark looked through every nook and cranny, posted flyers, hoping to track down their beloved, but to no avail. It wasn't until Brandy Hunter found her at an Amazon warehouse in Southern California. She went 6 days without food or water, hidden inside a box that she snuck into with boots returned to the warehouse. The couple received a notification on April 17th that Galina's microchip was scanned, and then they jumped on a plane the next morning straight to Cali. The Amazon employee said she took care of Galina before taking her to the vet. The Clarks said Galina's blood work came out normal, despite Galina being skinnier, and they're in awe of all the little and big miracles that have taken place.
Mommy loves you. You're so sweet.
Clark said part of the box was split open so Galina could breathe. The weather was ideal, and she came across Hunter, who happens to know a lot about cats. Clark told NTD that they encourage all pet owners to microchip their pets and triple check any mailed packages. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
Stay tuned for China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer coming up next. American sentiment toward China plunges to its lowest point in years. A recent survey shows over 80% of Americans have an unfavorable view of communist China. More details coming tonight on China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And that's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.